Before we get started, first and foremost, thank you everybody for jumping on. Happy to be presenting the travel management tool to everyone here that's interested. My name is Jordan Vosylius. I'm one of the account executives here at TravelBank. With me is Kyle Savage, another account executive, plenty of experience in both software, banking products, and travel management products between the two of us. We have a special guest as well. Daniel Duffy's on the line. He's our director here. He's got over 16 years of travel management experience. I'm happy to have him join as well. Quick side note, we will keep everybody muted, just for fluidity and obviously making sure everyone is able to hear what Kyle and I are presenting today. But what we will ask of everyone is if you see questions or if you see anything that pertains to you and you want to ask questions about, feel free to jump into the chat. You can chat in your questions. While I'm talking, Kyle's going to be fielding those questions. And then when we switch, I will jump in and start fielding questions as well. Otherwise, I think we've got just about everyone registered joined now. That room is very full. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, really excited to jump into this here, show you our travel management tool. At a high level, what we're going to be doing is focusing on what we like to call the 80%. So everything we're showing you today, 80% of our customers, 80% of your employees are going to use these tools. There are, of course, going to be fringe cases and customizations that you might have questions about. We can either discuss those items offline. Perhaps some of them we can answer in the chat. If they're a little bit more detailed and complex, we can always get in touch with you offline as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here just to make sure everyone sees that. I'll get Kyle to give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen. Perfect. Also, I'll mention as well, we're going to save about 10 to 12 minutes at the end of this to make sure we go through any remaining questions in that chat window, if there are any. But without further ado, to kick this off, we're about 4 minutes in now. So, just based on the attendee list, I think we have just about everyone that is going to join. It's a great turnout here. What you're seeing on my screen, this is kind of the first glimpse of TravelBank that your employees, that your users, that travelers are going to see. So we wanted to start here because you only get one shot at first impression. We want your employees' first impression of TravelBank to be, wow, that was easy. Why would I book anywhere else? I can use this system. We can drive that user adoption naturally, and employees aren't going to be hesitant or resistant to use a tool like TravelBank. So Kyle's also going to go into some company settings afterwards that will show how all of this kind of ties together. But this first experience, what you can see is I'm in my account. So starting off as a premium booking experience, the first portion of that is going to start with building my account. So as a traveler, I've used a lot of travel tools in the past. I was never really able to create an account like this. I was never able to build my own traveler profile. Sure, there were things and areas where I could put loyalty programs in play, but they were usually hidden behind settings or backdoors that I didn't really navigate to, and I probably missed out on a lot of perks. Your employees, when you invite them to use TravelBank, they will be prompted to create their traveler profile. So once they jump in here, they log in for the first time, they set their password, they're landing on this traveler profile page. They can input anything that they like to have attached to their name when traveling. So whether they are booking on their own or someone else is booking on their behalf, this information will always carry with them. First and foremost, my profile, obviously most important. I can set up my contact information, set my password. If I ever want to change my password, I can do that right there. And under my traveler details, I can add my TSA pre-check number. If I fly internationally, I can store my passport information here as well. I can always update those in case I renew my passport at any given moment. And most importantly, what we find drives a lot of user adoption is just the simplicity of being able to add any loyalty programs to their traveler profiles. So again, like I mentioned in the past, a lot of these systems, they don't make it very clear as to how the traveler can take advantage of their status with an airline, their perks with a hotel. What we like to do is put it front and center right here. Very easy to just add an airline loyalty program. You select from a drop-down menu, pop in that program number, and it's saved. You're good to go. Anytime you book travel with a corresponding airline, hotel, or car rental agency, you will populate those points and those loyalty programs will carry forward with the traveler. So again, making it simple, making it easy. As soon as everyone inputs this information, it's smooth sailing from here. Anytime they book travel, this information is going to carry forward. So I'm going to skip over a few of these sections, but the moral of the story here is once this traveler profile is built, it's nice to know that your employees have the power to manage their own traveler settings. So these profile settings, any loyalty programs they're a part of, or any business flight credits that they might have, they're all available to them in their traveler profile. It's a lot more self-service, but that's also a lot more streamlined for the employee experience. Once I've completed this profile, I'm ready to start booking travel. So I can go ahead and click on this travel button. If I'm doing this from my mobile device, I can do this from an iPhone, Android phone. Our mobile app can do everything that I just showed you. And once I click on this travel button, again, the same idea applies. We want this to be as easy for your users as possible. No one's going to come into this system, click on that travel button, and wonder, hey, how do I use this? And again, that speaks volumes to user adoption. We want your employees to use the system. It's a win-win for the employer and for the employee. It's easy for everybody. Everybody wins. This search field here, again, if anyone's booked any kind of vacation in the past, if anyone's jumped on Expedia or anything like that, they're going to come into TravelBank and know exactly how to use this program. So again, think of that 80%, right? 80% of people are going to be booking their own flights. So why not make it simple for them? Few items here, I can always search round trip one-way multi-city tickets very easily, switch between hotel and car searches. We have travel agents available 24/7. So your employees, if they ever need assistance, they can chat with or call in to a travel agent at any time. They can do this from their mobile phone as well. So if they need assistance, maybe there was a snowstorm, a flight cancellation, a delay, whatever might be the case, your employees will be taken care of when they're on the road. Now, let's just say I'm ready to start searching for travel. Maybe I'm going from San Francisco, perhaps to New York City. That is a very common flight path. And I don't need any travel agent assistance right now. So I'm just going to pop in my destinations, my travel dates. Perhaps I'm going sometime in March. And I'm only looking for myself. So I'm only going to be selecting one traveler. When I go ahead and search for this flight, what you're going to see is a few different things that are different from just booking in legacy solutions or online solutions. What we do is we approve your traveler in real time for the exact dollar value they need to get to their destination. And that's going to be expressed to them right here as a round trip company policy. So a round trip company policy is driven by a few different factors and calculated by a few different factors. Kyle's going to go into that a little bit more in depth when he goes through our company settings and your specific policy settings. But this is ultimately driven by each of our customers' travel policies. And that policy is embedded in this booking tool. So we make sure that your employees are always guided down the correct path of following the most cost-effective policy that you would like them to follow. That's not to say they can't go outside of policy and require perhaps exception approval. Those are all customizations that we can help your business sort through, and we can provide some best practice recommendations around that. However, this number is extremely important for a few different reasons. One is this is based off of the average economy fare ticket for all of these flight options you see here. So every flight option that's available to your employee when they're traveling, this average number is an algorithm that we pull from all of the flight options that are in our search engine. Now, why is that important? Again, because every traveler going to different locations are going to need different dollar values. And so we mitigate the risk of your employees inadvertently overspending on travel, but we also mitigate the risk of them being under-approved and not being able to get to their destination. That usually leads to emails back and forth with management or supervisors, trying to get reapproved for a flight that might have increased in prices, and it just becomes a headache. This number right here, again, driven by your company policy, driven by these destinations and these search dates as well. The second reason why I like to touch on this whenever showing this tool is that number at $486 is, again, the market average for all of the flight options to get to New York City on March 29th. That means that if any of your employees select this economy fare, perhaps even this one at $399, even if they went a little bit more expensive at $419, but they like the fact that this got them there at 2:30 p.m., whatever dollar value they're selecting, every dollar below this number is $1 saved for your company. And the reason for that is because they are actually beating the market average price to get to New York City without really knowing it. It's just a natural selection to go ahead and choose, here's a flight that is within my company policy. And at $399, we're $87 below market average prices. So just by simply selecting that ticket, it would be the same as going to a local gas station. And no matter which pump you pulled into, you just happen to be paying 50 cents less per liter, or I should say per gallon. I'm from Canada, so we use the metric system. But again, you pull into a gas station, it would be great if you knew no matter what pump you pulled into, you were getting a discount on the market average for fuel. That's the same thing that's happening here. That's how we can start to materialize savings for all of our customers without sacrificing the employee experience. So I'm going to go ahead and select this flight. We'll say at $399. It's a comfortable flight for me. I don't mind taking the red eye for whatever reason. And what you'll notice is we are now at the itinerary booking page. So the summary for this itinerary is given to me right here. I can select myself as the traveler. So all of my traveler details that I had previously populated in my account will show up here. Any airline loyalty program will populate based on the flight that I'm booking, and any TSA pre-check number or passport info as well. If someone is booking on my behalf, same idea applies. They would just select my traveler profile and I would not miss out on any of this information. For those delegates or those admins that are booking on behalf of other individuals, it makes it really easy, really simple to make sure you're booking for the correct traveler. As I scroll down, we're going to make sure that confirmation and receipts are sent to management. We can select seats here as well. So I can look at the seat map based on the plane that I'm flying with, grab my seats as needed. The payment method that's on file, this can be your company card program, this can be an individual card. We are agnostic to payment method, which is super flexible for all of our customers. That payment method is going to be charged once I book this flight. And we also have the additional booking details that you can customize entirely. So if you have job codes, project numbers, clients that you want to keep track of, how many times you're visiting, you can create business purpose tags in our system, and you can always run a travel report at the end of the month, at the end of the year, whenever you like, and you can filter by your specific booking detail tags that you've created. Again, Kyle is going to jump into that in a little bit more detail. Now, once I have everything selected, I've got my seats, my payment method is already on file, my profile is selected, I can go ahead and book that flight. Now, this is usually where we get questions around, well, what if I don't want my employee booking that flight? There's a few things to consider with that. And again, Kyle's going to go over policy settings, but in our demo environment, and keeping in mind that 80% rule that we consider, this book flight button is available to me because I have not broken company policy. I've followed all the rules. I'm booking far enough in advance. I've selected a flight option that is below the dynamic budget that was produced for us within TravelBank using that algorithm. So I'm allowed to book that flight. This setting can be changed. We don't recommend it. 80% of the time, those flights are going to be approved. What you will also notice is this trip total is the exact total that you saw on our search page. We do not embed any booking fees. We do not embed any hidden fees from the airline. We take into consideration the seat selection, and all of that information is built into the price that we present. So your employees can feel comfortable knowing that what they click on is what they're going to see at checkout as well. Really streamlines the booking process, makes it a lot easier for people to book flights quickly, without hesitation, without second guessing themselves, and we take all that research and guesswork out of the process. Now, theoretically, if I click this back button here, I'm going to do one more quick search for flights. When I click the back button, it's going to bring us back to our original search to go to New York City. That round trip company policy is produced again, but let's just say I'm going to San Diego instead. Obviously, that's a much shorter trip. Maybe I'm still going on the same dates, so you can pretend they're two different employees traveling at the same time to two different destinations. If I update these search results, you're going to see how vastly different that dynamic policy or that budget that is produced is going to be for this traveler. So that dropped that price down all the way to $202. So this always begs the question, right? The old school way of travel budgets being planned out was, hey, anyone who has to travel for work, let's give them all a blanket rate. You have $1,000 a month to spend and use that for airfare whenever needed. Well, the problem with that is our first employee flying to New York City, one flight was almost half of their budget. This person flying to San Diego, one flight is only 20% of their budget. So why give people that blanket price? What this also does is it makes sure you're not over approving unnecessarily, right? You don't have to research now. No need to go and look at hundreds of different flights to try and find the best price option and then approve a long-winded travel request from one of your salespeople or anything like that. Our system takes care of that for you. So now this flight to San Diego, again, we give your traveler the exact amount that they need to get to their destination comfortably. And if they just so happen to spend a few dollars below that number, maybe they like Southwest and they select this option here, that is just more savings to the company that would have probably been spent elsewhere if you weren't using a tool like TravelBank. So all of those dollars, the dollars in between that discretion, again, that's the market average being inadvertently beaten by your travelers. Now, the next area I'm going to search for is a hotel booking. This will be a really good segue into Kyle's portion of our demonstration here. And what you can see, it populates the destination, it recognizes my travel dates. But the reason why I want to search for hotels and show everybody this search engine is we have a few really unique tools behind our hotel search that you can use. One of them being our rewards option, which you will see shortly. Kyle will dive into the details on rewards, but earning rewards is just as simple as your employee beating this budget that we created for them. So again, we use the same methodology that we did with flights. We create a total nightly budget based on the destination and travel dates. Example I always like to use, imagine one of your employees was flying to New York City on New Year's Eve. Those hotels are going to be much more expensive than a hotel in New York City in the middle of March, for example. So we create those budgets for you. We use our algorithm to build out that dynamic policy. And if your employees are able to beat these budgets by a substantial amount, they have the ability to earn rewards. And those rewards dollars are showing up right here on the hotel options that are more cost effective. Now, again, this doesn't sacrifice employee or traveler experience. It is entirely up to them. If they find something that's still within policy or right at policy, there's no reason why they can't select it. But this at least incentivizes another win-win scenario for your employees. They get a few dollars that they can redeem for gift cards in our rewards bank here, which I will show you shortly. And the company is able to save on the expected budget. Because remember, one night stay in San Diego on March 29th, our company was expecting to spend $350 for that one night in that city. Well, if we can beat that, those expected dollars stay within the company. So let's just say I didn't like any of these hotels, or as you can see, these are outside of policy. I can go ahead and scroll until I find one that is within policy. The other item that we can embed into the booking tool for you would be discount banners. So this is a question that comes up a lot. If your company has corporate discount codes with any hotels, we can embed those discounts into the booking tool and bubble them up to the top of the search results. This will mean your employees are more likely to take advantage of those discounts you have pre-negotiated. And again, that just drives more savings. Your employees are just naturally going to be more cost effective without sacrificing their experience. On top of that, TravelBank will also offer exclusive discounts, and you will see TravelBank discounts below your pre-negotiated rates as well. So there's 3 different ways you can start building those savings. The hotel booking is going to be the exact same itinerary look and feel as you saw with our flights. The only difference is if I'm able to earn rewards, it's going to explain to that traveler exactly why I'm netting $8 in rewards. I can still select my traveler profile just like I did for airlines, book that hotel, add a business purpose, and then I'm done. These itineraries will show up in my dashboard. If I wanted to redeem any accumulated rewards dollars, they will show up here in my rewards bank. This is a great little tool. You know, Amazon's a super popular gift card of ours. I know I use it, but a few dollars here and there, it can add up. It's a great way of saying thank you to your employees for being super cost effective. Again, you know, they can redeem for any of these gift cards that they choose. I'm in Toronto, you know, Leaf tickets here, Toronto Maple Leaf tickets are quite expensive. So the StubHub gift card is one of my favorites. I will pass it over to Kyle now. I know that was a lot of information on travel booking, but the best part is once I move it over to Kyle's screen, he's going to show you the company settings and how all of your company settings basically bring the booking experience to life. So everything that I did from a traveler standpoint and what they saw is brought to life through the company settings. And without me taking too much more time, I will stop my screen, start answering questions, and Kyle, you can take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Really appreciate everybody for joining here today. Again, like Jordan had mentioned, I'm going to walk us through our company settings here and how we're actually configuring that budget that Jordan had showed through the booking experience. So what we're seeing here, folks, as an admin, we do have access to our company settings tab over here. And this is how we will create all of the backend settings for an organization. So first off, I just want to go through the employee directory where we host all of your employee information. Also where we can set up delegate functionality where we can have employees book on behalf of others. In addition, we'll walk through our travel policies, the approvals that we have, rewards that Jordan had mentioned for hotels specifically. And then we will go through our Premium Insights tool here as well. This is an analytics suite that we have where we can really drill down into all the travel data that's being inputted into the tool, allows organizations to see how much they've saved utilizing TravelBank. Also, they can see their corresponding budgets through the tool here as well. But we will jump right into the directory. So with this, folks, we are uploading all of your employees who will be booking travel. Looking at this, I can see my active employees in the left-hand corner here. Very easy for us to add a new employee up top. Simply put in their basic information, their department. Manager will be approving all of their travel bookings. So that's how the initial workflow is set up on the approval side for travel. In addition, we'll be able to set their travel policy, which I'll cover here in a second. And then advanced permissions, if you do want to have access to the company settings, we want to make sure that admin is checked off in your profile. This will allow you, again, to come in and make any of those backend configuration changes. And then underneath our directory here, we do have delegates. So I just mentioned that earlier, but what we can do here is we can assign delegates to ghost in on behalf of host profiles. This way, Lauren can actually go into Ira's profile, which Jordan had showed you there earlier. Book Ira's travel, has all that traveler information in there, the loyalty programs as well. Also with that, they do have an unused ticket view. So maybe Ira, for whatever reason, didn't go on his trip there. The delegate can utilize that unused ticket, apply that in app, or call into one of our agents here who are available 24/7 to reach out to with anything that you need help with along traveling there. For our travel policies here, when we click on travel, the first thing that we have up top is actually a travel tracker. This is will help keep track of duty of care. We can see where all the travelers are by location, active stays, travelers in the air, your international travelers here as well. Really cool thing here too, folks, is we can download these results via any of these formats here below. So a great way to know that our employees are safe, they're traveling to the right location, and a good way that we can check back in on this, and it does update real time for us. Within our travel policies, you can see I have quite a few on our demo site here, but we are able to create travel policies, maybe for different departments in your company, maybe for single individuals here as well. Within these policies, we are going to create the flight and the lodging budget. And then underneath here, folks, we just have your directory. So we create the policy name up top here, and then we can add in those employees that are in this, specific policy up top here as well. But you can see for flights, we are utilizing that algorithm that Jordan had mentioned earlier. So again, this is taking into account real-time data to create that dynamic budget for where the employee's flying to, those specific dates, the average fare class, so this case economy, and then we're taking into consideration these stops here as well. So these parameters are going to dictate that real-time budget. We partner with two of the largest travel agencies in the world, Booking.com and Expedia. So you'll never have lack of inventory on that side. If we wanted to dictate this budget, maybe increase this for employees, we would select business or first class. Decreasing the budget would be 1+ stops here as well. So you really have flexibility on how you want to set up that budget for your employees here. Underneath, we have our booking rules. So this will allow you to gain better control and visibility into what these employees are booking. Right away, this first one, advanced booking requirements, would require this employee to book 14 days ahead of that trip here. We can dictate the time below here by setting any of these different frames. Obviously, this one functionality here, booking ahead of time, there will be more flight availability, which correlates to a cheaper flight price. So just implementing this one booking rule is going to save you folks money when we're booking our flights. In addition, we do have a flight cost hard cap. So this will actually work with the algorithm in the budget tool up top. If for whatever reason, like Jordan had said, we're flying to New York City on New Year's Eve, notoriously that's going to be a little bit higher. So what we can do is we can work with this hard cap. So if that budget up top here were ever over this hard cap amount, this would revert to the budget for the employee. And then we can actually set approvals and notifications here below. So if this person went over this $1,000 mark, it will then be routed to that manager that we appointed in the directory. They receive an email notifying them that they have an approval, and they have 24 hours to either approve or reject that booking there. In addition, we do have budget flexibility. So I see a lot of organizations setting this to maybe 5 or 10%. And what this does, folks, it allows the employee to book a ticket that might be maybe $5, $10, $15 over that budget that we create. Most organizations are fine with it being a few bucks over that initial budget here. So this will just limit the amount of approvals a manager may receive here. And what we actually noticed through our tool and the surveys that we have with our customers is that once you saw through the bookings experience that you are prompted to stay within your policy. So if we have this set up correctly, very easy to utilize, they go through our training, we see maybe 5 to 10% of these bookings actually needing approval, as the interface is so easy to utilize from a front-end user perspective. Lastly, here we do have our notifications. So this will just send a manager a quick email with a breakdown of the travel receipt, where their employee's traveling to. And then lastly, we do have those approvals. So if we have it turned on for out of policy, any of the parameters in this up top here that were bypassed, again, would then be routed to the manager, who has 24 hours to either approve or reject that trip. So that's our flight budget here. And then secondly, we have lodging. So for lodging, we're using a similar algorithm, taking into account location, dates, the hotel class, and then also distance from search location. So this policy would take into account, where we're staying, those specific dates, the average 3-star hotel price, and then also we're dropping a pin and using what's called the distance from search location. So all the average prices of the 3-star hotels in that 10-mile radius. In addition, we can create your corporate rates here as well. So if you have any pre-established rates with any hotel venues, like Jordan had mentioned, we can build those into our tool as your specific rates there, and they can bubble up to the top of the search when they are looking for specific locations and venues as well. Booking rules are very similar to the flights. We have advanced booking requirements. We have a nightly hard cap here as well, and then your budget flexibility to reduce the amount of approvals you may have, and then just the notifications and approvals here as well. So very, very easy to set this up. Only the parameters that you need to actually create cost savings for the organization, and then give you better visibility into what these employees are actually booking here. For our rewards here, so this pertains specifically to hotels, and that was what we saw when Jordan was booking hotels, the little black banner with the dollar amount signifying the rewards that the employee receives for booking a cheaper hotel. This is where we're going to set those specific parameters. So we have the option, 20% would be the least that we could offer, and then 50% for the max here. But I always use the example of the employee, searching for their hotel. They have a hotel budget, 1-night stay for $300. Let's say they find a hotel for $200 right next to the conference they're going to, still a 3-star hotel there. But in that scenario, there's a $100 difference for the company. And this, with 20% on, $20 would go back to the employee that they can redeem in the reward section via gift cards. And then $80 wasn't spent on maybe a corporate card or a personal card that you folks have to reimburse them for. Gets the employee thinking about, hey, it's not my money. I don't have to go up to that last penny on the budget. I typically would do that if I'm not incentivized. But since I am, why not think about picking a cheaper hotel? I'll get a gift card, and then the organization's saving $80 because they didn't go up to that very last penny on the market price and the budget that was created there. Once we get people utilizing this tool, they see we partner with Amazon, they can redeem those on a gift card. We see organizations saving between 15 and 30% on their hotel spend annually. And we do have a way to track this, which I'll show in a second in our Premium Insights tool. So you can tangibly see how much you folks are saving utilizing a platform like TravelBank here. And then for custom fields here, folks, we do have these. So those are the tags for the business purposes that Jordan had showed. So this is where we can create these specific tags here down below, easily add a new tag, and this will populate when we're actually completing the booking here as well. Really cool thing too, we can make these required. So if it's super pertinent to your business, we can actually make those required before the employee books that specific trip there. So that is our travel policies here. Again, company settings, if you're an admin, you can see these boxes and configure those in the back end. So now I do want to segue over to our Premium Insights tool. So again, this is where we can really drill down into any of the data that's being inputted through our solution. Right away, when I do get to this here, folks, we have our travel transaction report at the very top. This report is actually considered one of our core insight reports. So this is something that is embedded within our tool that you folks will get here. Premium Insights in the dashboard that we're looking at right now is an extra fee. So we can get into that if you folks want a customized demonstration. You know, Jordan and I can certainly speak to what this will look like. But again, this travel transaction report is something that you folks will have here. You can search any of the travel transactions from a flight, hotel, and rental car perspective, and a great way to see your total spend from a company perspective for travel. Underneath here, we do have, you know, all these different dashboards that we can customize for you as well. So if you didn't want to see, you know, bookings total spend versus budgeted, we could have something else represented here that is more pertinent to your organization. Underneath, we do have the travel summary dashboard, which I'll, you know, show here in a second. And then we do have these different fields that we can drill down into. So one of these would be the percentage saved. The percentage saved with the solution here. So this will show you utilizing TravelBank, employees are continuously beating that market price here. And this is the correlated savings for this specific month. So clicking into the 9.7%, it's going to create a report that will drill down into this data and show specifically the employees who have booked travel, their budget that was allotted for that specific trip, and whether or not they went over that budget or not. So I think it's a really great report to refer to. As you can see, we have the username here. Scrolling across, we have a bunch of other information, you know, length of trip, start and end date. But moving over, what I really wanted to focus on was the specific budget column. So again, this is what our tool creates for the budget for that allotted trip here. You can see this first employee didn't go over that specific budget here, but this one down below looks like they went $29 over the budget that was allotted. Even this person here, 236. So we can see if we have any repeat offenders that are consistently going over that budget, maybe reach out to them, give them a different budget for business if they're continuously booking that. But a great way to drill down in here to see if we have people going over that budget that we have allotted them as well. You can download any of these reports in the lower right-hand corner. So if I click here, easily download these reports, I can import those into any disparate systems that you may need this information for. And then looking at just the travel summary dashboard. So this is where I clicked in, and this will show all the traveler information. So this is a little bit more intuitive. The original dashboard that we had on the right-hand side, we had some expense information. So obviously, you know, we're doing the travel demo today, but we do have an expense module that we can help with, you know, tracking for your expenses. So if you want information on that side, certainly reach out to Jordan or I, and we can, you know, help point you in the right direction. But again, we can customize anything that we're looking at here. We've already drilled down into percentage saved, but you can see total bookings, you know, advanced, total active users here as well. Great looking, you know, graphs for us to drill down into, and all of this is updated real time as well after these have been processed, those, you know, specific flight, hotel, and rental car receipts. Pie charts here below, you know, sorting everything by department, car bookings, hotel bookings. You can even see which are the most popular states your folks are traveling into. So lots of good information here. Flight bookings, domestic versus flights. And then another report I wanted to show too was just the rewards. So utilizing the rewards, we can see who is the top rewarder, right? So it looks like Rachel is the one that's taking the most advantage of the booking tool here. And just a great way where we can see, you know, the employees that are really utilizing the software properly, the rewards, and, you know, creating that tangible savings for the company. But I just want to scroll down. And again, all of these can be customized here as well. So whatever you folks need for information right away, we'll make sure to customize those graphs and these different charts here. With the reporting feature too, we actually can schedule reports as well. So maybe your top travel admin wants to get the reports for the total saved for each month. We can have that scheduled and sent directly to his or her email. So they always have that information there as well. But that is what I had planned for the premium insights in our reporting feature. I know we do want to save some time towards the end here to filter and answer any questions that you folks may have. So I will stop sharing my screen here and we can look at answering some questions here, Jordan.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Just going through one right now. So Carrie asked, if you wanted to create a report for how many days each employee traveled in 2022, how would you go about that? So I was just saying back to you, Carrie, I was in the middle of typing there. This could be created through our Premium Insights tool. So it's just a matter of building a report through our report builder function, easy as selecting your headings, filtering by the employee type, and you could even include a list of travel days that they were on the road. So I hope that answers that question. And it looks like we got to just about everyone's questions so far. Thanks, Carrie. If anyone else has anything else that they would like to chat about, feel free to jump that into our chat window or our Q&A right now. I see another question here. Is there visibility on a report to show what type of booking each transaction is? For example, rewards or hotel loyalty, etc. So is there visibility on a report to show what type of booking each transaction is? For example, rewards or hotel loyalty. So I think the rewards might be a little bit outside of this question. We might want to clarify that, but the rewards function is built into the booking itinerary. So it will be a line item on your hotel booking in TravelBank. The hotel loyalty, I'm not sure exactly what the question is pertaining to there. Hotel loyalty memberships will be tied to the booking. So if your employee or your traveler is maybe part of Hilton Honors and they book with a Hilton, that will carry forward onto that hotel reservation with a Hilton, for example. Now, if you're looking for transaction type, to summarize your question, absolutely, you can filter by flight booking, hotel booking, car rental booking. You can filter by the merchant name as well. So if you wanted to see how many flights did we take last year with, American Airlines, you could filter that too. So I hope that answers that question. We'll see if any other are coming up. Okay, Denisha asks, can we control if we want to display pay now versus pay at hotel options for employees? So yes, the answer to that is yes. We can filter out those results in your search engine. That's going to be done, and we'll discuss those best practices with you during implementation. But the short answer to that, yes, we could filter those results for you. Thanks, Denisha. Awesome. Okay. I know we are a bit ahead of schedule here, which is never a bad thing. Does anybody else have any other questions they'd like to jump in? Oh, there we go. Another question from Carrie. You showed a way to have them choose the name of the event that admins input. Can you go into that again? Are there other details that we can add as well? Like if the travel has been approved by their manager or not? So Kyle, do you want to pull up your screen here? I'll kind of answer that question as you're doing that. So two parts to that question. So Carrie, you can add to those business tags. Kyle's going to show you that right here. You can absolutely add to them. You can customize them. You can make them a requirement or an optional field. So you can see Kyle just added the conference tag there and highlighted the requirement for this. So again, your admins could input the name of an event or a conference that you're hosting. Are there other details that we can add as well, like if the travel has been approved by their manager or not? So that is something that you could theoretically use our Premium Insights function for as well, where you could pull a report that shows how many approval requests were actually needed, right? And how many employees needed those exception approvals and when they were approved and by which manager as well. So Carrie, I hope that answers that question for you. Have an anonymous question here. How much does the software cost? So we won't get into pricing today. With that being said, our prices are on our website. So you can always go to our pricing page on travelbank.com. Everything's right there, fully transparent. The only reason why we won't go into too much detail on pricing today is because there are some nuances where you might want to have a bundle of licenses, perhaps a split of licenses if you utilize our expense functionality. So we can always get in touch with you if you want to discuss what type of solution is best for your business, and we can build a price around that discussion. So I hope that answers that question. Rosemary, tagging on to Carrie's question, can we name them after a travel PO? We've had that question in the past. The answer is yes, you can. Kyle, I think you just had that happen with a client recently. So if you have travel POs, you can have those tags created there. All right, another question, anonymous attendee. Is there a way for the admin to act as an employee? If an employee is having an issue submitting a report and I want to go in and see what they see, is that possible? Interesting. So Kyle, are you pulling that up right now? You want to field this one? Perfect. We'll let Kyle walk through that one. Carrie, our pleasure. Happy that we were able to answer those questions for you. Oh, Kyle is muted again. Let me unmute Kyle here. There we go. Kyle, you should be
awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, so what we can do in terms of the employee going in on behalf of somebody else and booking their travel or even helping out with expense reports, again, we can assign yourself as a delegate. This way you have access to the host traveler profile and also their expense profile here as well. With the delegate functionality, you can see we can assign as many hosts as you folks need to log into their profile for, and we can create as many combinations as you folks need here as well. But this will essentially give the individual access to go into their account. They have all of their traveler information here, and then also have access to the expense report feature here as well, so they can help out with anything that employee needs help with.
Perfect. Hope that answers that question. All right. Anything else? One last call. We're about 15 minutes. Here's another question. Denisha, based on my last question, is it safe to assume we'd be able to apply corporate rates to pay now options, or is that subjective to how hotels upload them into the GDS? Hope that makes sense. Great question, Denisha. So it's kind of a mix of both. We usually do our best to make sure your corporate rates are available for all hotels. But it is a mix of both. We would have to discuss that in more detail with you to find out which properties you have discounts negotiated with, what your code stipulations are, and those types of things. So that might be one that we want to take offline as well. There's some nuances to that question. Awesome. Thanks, Tanisha. Wonderful. Okay, 14 minutes ahead of schedule. Again, I know that is usually a good thing for most, but before we disconnect, what I would love to ask from everyone attending right now and everyone that's still hung on, if you would like to hear from us, or if there's, maybe a whole bunch of questions that you want to go through in more detail and discuss with one of our account executives, if you can just type in our chat window, just a Y or a yes, then we can make sure one of our account executives gets in touch with you and goes through that discussion in more detail. Obviously, this was a teaser demo. This was not customized to everyone's unique travel programs that might be taking place at your companies. So we can certainly discuss in more depth and have an account executive reach out. If you just want to type in yes in the chat, we can have someone give you a call. Otherwise, that is everything that we want to show you. Thanks for spending about 47 minutes with us. Fantastic to see the turnout that we had. This will be recorded, so you can always watch this afterwards. And I see a raised hand there, Melissa and Laura. I'm assuming, Melissa, are you raising your hand, Cassandra? Okay, so those might be hand raises for us reaching out. So I'm going to just take it as that. So I got a few hand raises in the chat. Perfect. Oh, chat is disabled. That's not good. Well, at least you let us know. Thanks, Denisha. Okay, so chat was disabled. That's interesting. If anyone can just raise their hand then, like Melissa did, I can make sure people are reached out to. So we got Thomas, Melissa, handful of other folks. Laura, I know you mentioned in the Q&A, we'll make sure someone reaches out to you as well. Tiffany, thanks for letting folks know. You can type that in the Q&A box. Awesome. Okay. Well, with that, we will let everybody get back to their days. Appreciate the time today. Reach out to Kyle and I if you have any questions that we didn't cover today, and we'll be in touch with those folks that would like to learn more. We'll leave this window open for a few extra minutes as people are trickling out, or in case anyone has final questions they didn't get to. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.